In the previous class, we have discussed on non-deterministic finite automata with epsilon move, and we have also seen conversion of a non-deterministic finite automata with epsilon move to a non-deterministic finite automata without epsilon moves, right? In today's class, we are going to learn about finite state machines with output. Like we have already studied three types of finite state machines or finite state automata, that are the deterministic finite automata, a non-deterministic finite automata, and non-deterministic finite automata with epsilon moves, right? But when we have used these machines, we have seen that they were either used as a recognizer or generator of strings, right? And at the same time, the machines were not able to produce output. Now, if we make these machines to produce certain outputs, then we come to something called as finite state machines with output. And there are two types of finite state machines that produces output, and you might have heard about these machines when you have learned digital electronics, right? So these machines are nothing but the Mealy machines and the Moore machines. The Mealy machine was designed by George H. Mealy in 1960, for which we represent that machine in mathematical notation by using 6 tuple as m equals to q sigma, del, delta, lambda, and q0, where this q sigma and delta are same as q0 are same as that we have in our finite automata. That is, q represents the finite non-empty set of states, uh, sigma represents the finite set of input symbols, del, it is an additional new terminology which is used to represent the finite set of output symbols. So whatever output your machine will be producing, it will be producing only in terms of the symbols that are present in this set, or which are represented by del. Delta is again a transition mapping of a state on input to some other state, that is q by sigma derives to q. As we have a transition mapping, we also have output mapping, right? That is output function mapping, and it is represented by lambda. This output function mapping is used to determine the output at each state or each transition, right? So when we talk about Mealy machine, the output is represented on the transition. That is, whenever there is a transition from a state on certain input, on that transition, your output will be dependent, right? So the transition mapping or the output function mapping in case of Mealy machine is given by q by sigma derives to del. Okay, so on a state, if there is a transition on any symbol, a particular symbol, for this combination there will be output which is a particular symbol from the set of output symbols, that is del. Okay, so this is case of Mealy machine, wherein the output depends on the transition, that is on the current state and the current input both. Q0 is again the initial state of the finite automata. So these are the 6 tuples that are used to represent a machine called as Mealy machine. Similarly, we have Moore machine, but before that, let us uh, discuss an example on design of a Mealy machine. And the machine that we are going to design is to find the complement of a binary number. Now, what is a complement of a binary number? So if you consider a binary number like 0, 1, 1, suppose this is a binary number, then complement of this binary number is nothing but the reverse of it. 0 is converted to 1 and 1 is converted to 0. So the complement of this binary number will be 1, 0, and 0. Right. Now we need to design a machine or a finite state machine that will get this as an input and produces this as a output. So when this particular input, the first string is given as input to the automata or to the machine, it produces the following output, right? So simple. This is a Mealy machine. We know that the transition or the output is dependent on the transition, that is the current state and the current input combination. So let us try to design it. Now Here, in case of finite state machine with output, I have not represented any state as final state, right? Because there is no concept of final state. We just are interested in the output which is produced by the machine. Okay. Earlier, final state was very important in case of DFA and NFA because we were recognizing or accepting a particular string, right? And for accepting a particular string, we must have to stop somewhere, and that destination was our final state. Okay. Now, to design a complementary machine for complement of a binary number, we simply design a state. And in this state, if we get a 0, here what we are doing, if 0 is the input, the output is 1. If 1 is the input, the output is 0. This logic is very simple. If our input in this state is 0, it will produce output as 1. If the input is 1, it will produce an output 0, right? Simple. So this is the input. If in Q0, and output depends on the transition, so output is represented on the transition. This arrow represents a transition. So in Q0, if I get 0 as the input, because your output mapping is dependent on Q by sigma. So in Q, if I get 0 as the input, in Q0 I get 0 as the input, the output will be 1, right? As we know by this logic. Similarly, if in the same state the input is 1, the output should be 0, right? So we add another transition, that is from Q0. If the input is 1, the output shall be 0, right? So whatever the number be, so suppose you are in Q0 itself, single state is sufficient to solve this problem, right? So in Q0, if the input is 1, input is 0, it will produce output 1 by this transition. Again, I am back to Q0. In Q0, the next input is 1, so the output will be 0, so it has produced 0. I am back to Q0. Again Q0, in Q0 the next input is 1, so the output produced over here by this logic is 0. So this, if I have given this input to the machine, it has produced this particular output which was the required one. Now you can check the machine for any other binary input, and what the output will be produced is nothing but a complement of the input, right? So this is a simple Mealy machine which is used to compute complement of a binary number. I hope this part is clear to you all about Mealy machine and its simple example. If yes, you can, as usual, type U or Y onto the message box. If you have any concern, you may unmute yourself and ask. Okay. So now let us move to the next. Again, this was the transition diagram. For transition table, we make the same kind of representation, but there is an additional column that represents the output for each input. So we have input, we state, and in the next state column, we have the input, and based on the input, there is a next state as well as output, right? Similarly, for the next input, there is a next state and output. Okay, so in Q0, if the input is 0, next state is Q0 and the output which is generated is 1. Similarly, in Q0, if the input is 1, the next state is Q0 and the output which is generated is 0. So this is transition diagram and this is a transition table for the same. Okay, now let us look at Moore machine. Moore machine was designed by Edward F. Moore and it was designed in the 1960s. Okay. Again, this Moore machine was represented in tuple format by 6 tuples, and the same as that of Mealy machine. The only difference here was in the transition or the output function mapping, right? Transition was same as that of our DFA, but the difference from Mealy to Moore is in the output function mapping. In case of Mealy machine, the output was dependent on the current state and the current input of, right? Whereas in case of Moore machine, the output is only dependent on a current state, right? If you are in a particular state, you will definitely get an output, whether the input is there in that state or not, right? Whether you have read some input or not. But if you reached a particular state, then you will definitely get an output. So output is dependent on the state, not on the transition, not on the input. Okay, so this is the only difference in Moole and Moore machine. Okay, the remaining definition is same. So let us design again the same machine, that is complement of a binary number, but now this time we'll design a Moore machine. Okay, so for Moore machine, now we have two outputs. Like here also we had two output either zero output or a one output. If zero is the input, output was one. If one is the input, the output is zero. Okay, so similarly here also we have two outputs because we want to get complement. But now in the earlier case, the output was dependent on the transition, that is the state and the input combination. But here the output depends on the states, right? So as there are two outputs, so there must be two states. Okay, so one state will represent output 0, another state will represent output 1, like this. So we have considered initial state q0, that will represent output 0, and initial the second state q1, it will represent output 1. Okay, so whenever you are in initial state, whether you have read something or not, the machine will always produce an output 0. Okay, then when you get 0 as an input in the initial state, so if you get 0 as input in the initial state, your output should be 1. So if input is 0 in initial state of a Moore machine, you should transit to such state that will produce output 1, because we want output should be 1, right? So we transit on input 0 from q0 to q1, because q1 over here is representing an output 1. So as soon as you get 0 as input, you will reach q1, and in this state it will produce an output 1, right? Okay, then if in q0 you get 1, right? If in q0 you get 1, you will, on 1 you want output 0, so you will be going to a state that will produce output 0. That means you will have a self loop over here, like this. So in q0, if the input is 1, I'll go to q0 itself, because I want that the output should be 0. So I'll go to such state that will produce output 0. Okay, now if I raised q1, in q1 again you can get an input as 1 or 0. So if I get a 0 input, I shall go to a state that will produce an output 1. So I had a transition as self loop in q1. Whereas if in q1 I get a input as 1, I should go to a state that will produce an output 0 for me, that is state q0. So I have a transition on 1 to q0, right? So now this is a Moore machine that will accept, that will get a binary number as input and produce its complement as output. Like suppose the same binary number is given as input to this, the same is represented by this, we'll see an example later. The same is represented by this transition table. Now the transition table over here, we have a single output because the output is dependent on a state, right? So for a state there is a one output, for another state there is another output. Here the output was dependent on the transition, that is on state and input, therefore we had two different outputs for two different input symbols. But here the output depends on the state. If you are in q0, you will always produce 0 output. If you are in q1, you will always produce 1 output. So we have only one output column over here, right? So let us consider the same example. So this 0 1 1 is the input. Okay, and now you will start with initial state q0. So in q0, as soon as you reach q0, you will be producing an output 0, right? Without reading any input, the output produced will be 0, and 0 at the start of anything adds nothing, right? So you can have any number of zeros at the start. Okay, so now as soon as in q0 the first input is read, the first input is 0. So in q0, if 0 is input, I'll go to q1. So first you will reach q1, and when you reach q1, output will be generated, that is 1. Okay, and in q1 the next input is again 1. So in q1, when I get one input, I transit to q0, and after reaching q0, the state q0 is producing an output 0. Sorry, not 1, I typed 1. Okay, so it produces an output 0. Again in q0, the next input is 1. So in Q0, if I get 1, I transit to Q0 itself and produces an output 0. So I am in Q0 and I have got an output as 0. So the complete string which was given as input is read, and 011 is now producing an output 100, right? The same as this. Okay, so this is a Moore machine. But here there is one additional 0 appended at the start, right? So which is to be ignored. Okay, even if you okay, so this is the result. I hope this example is also clear. Yes, Deepak, do you have any doubt?
No, sir. By mistake it was.
Okay, okay. Is it clear to everyone, Mealy and Moore machine? What is the difference between two? How do you
Yes.
represent two transition table and transition diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So let us move to the next example. So here itself I have considered the example, another example for the same. So let us consider another example for Mealy machine. The input is 1011. So the output will be when in Q0 you get 1, the output will be 0. When you get you will stay in Q0. In Q0 the next input is 0, output produced is 1. Next input is 1, the output produced is 0. Next input is again 1, the output produced is 0. Right. So this is the output for Mealy machine. Similarly for Moore machine, uh, in Q0 already the output produced is 0 without reading anything. So in Q0, when I read 1, I transit to Q1 and the output produced is, yes, I stay in Q0 and the output produced is 0. When in Q0 I get 0, I transit to Q1 and produce an output 1. The next input in Q1 is 1. So I again transit back to Q0 and produce an output 0. In Q0, the input is 1 and I stay in Q0 and produce an output 0. Right. So this is the way I have designed the Mealy or Moore machine. Right. So the required answer is as it is. Now let us move to another example on design of Mealy and Moore machine. We will consider simultaneously both examples for both the machines for a particular problem. Okay. So here we will be designing a Mealy as well as a Moore machine that will compute residue modulus 3 for each binary string treated as binary integer. Okay. So here, whenever a binary number is given as input, we need to compute the mod 3, right? So mod 3 means you need to divide the binary number by 3 and the output should be the remainder. Okay, like suppose I divide a number 2 by 3, the remainder should be 2. But now I will not give the decimal input as we did in DFA, design of DFA. Now I want that the input should be in terms of binary numbers. So if the input is 1 0, the output should be 2. If the input is 0 1 1 or 1 1 only, the output should be 3. If the input is if the input is 1 1, the output should be 0. If the input is 1, only 1, that is 0 0 1, the output should be 1. So let us try to design this. So in case of Mealy machine or Moore machine, whenever we are trying to design a machine for accepting divisible by 3 or mod 3, we have discussed about a logic, right? So how many states will be there? States will be equal to the number of remainders. Okay. So let me write something first. Okay, so I have written number from 0 to 7 in binary. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, and this is 7. Okay, so now when we divide a number by 3, you can obviously have uh, remainders, that is either 0, 1 or 2. So if the remainder is 0, the number is divisible by 3, otherwise it is not. Okay, so for this purpose we'll always design three states, that is q0, q1, q2. Q0 will represent the state with remainder 0, that will be our accepting state if we design a DFA. Otherwise it will be non-accepting state, but we want output, right? We want the output should be 0 over here. This is the state representing remainder 1, and this is the state representing remainder 2. Okay, so we have decided that this state represents 0 and represent remainder 1, this represents remainder 2. So when we are designing a Mealy machine, whenever we are going into state q0, right, whenever there is a transition towards state q0, we should produce an output 0. Whenever there is a transition towards state 1, we should produce an output 1, because that state represents remainder 1. Whenever we are moving towards states 2, we should produce an output 2. Okay, that is representing our remainders. So the numbers that are divisible by 3 is having 0, 0, 0, right? So whenever there are zeros as input, any number of zeros will be divisible by 3, right? So from q0, if I get a 0 input, I should go to a state such that it produces a remainder 0, and I should produce an output as 0, right? So from q0, if I get a 0 as input, I will go to q0 and produce an output 0 simultaneously, right? So I'll add outputs later, but we'll see which number is divisible by 3. So if I get any number of 0, I should be in q0, because q0 represents an output 0. Okay, if I get 1 as input, so if I get 0, 0 as input, and lastly there is 1, so it is representing a number 1. So if I directly get 1 as input, it is representing number 1. So I should transit to a state such that the output is 1 and the remainder 1 state is q1. So in q0, if I get 1 as input, I should transit to q1, right? But now we have considered both the input from q0, that is 0 and 1. Now in q1, I can get a input 0 or I can get a input 1, right? So if I get a input 1, so that means I have read already a 1, and then again I am getting a input as 1. So on 1, if the next one is there, so it is representing a number 3, right? So in q1, if I get 1, so it will represent that I have already read a 1 and again I am getting a 1. So it means there is a number 3, that is 0, 1, 1. So 1, 1 means the number is 3. So I should go to a state such that the remainder should be 0. So I had a transition on 1 to state q0, right? So from q1, if I get 1, I go to state q0. But similarly on q1, I can get a 0 input. So for q0, on to reach q1, I have already read a 1, and if again I get a 0, so it will represent the number 2, that is 1, 0. Okay, so for q1 I have read 1, and from here if I get a 0, I should go to a state that will represent remainder 2, because it will produce a number 2, and when 2 is divided by 3, it will produce a remainder 2, right? So 2 divided by 3 will produce remainder, it will produce a remainder 2. Okay, so we should go to a state that will produce a remainder 2. So we have transited to q2, right? Then I have considered both the input at q1. Now in q2, Again, I can get any input, that is I can get a 0 input or 1 input, right? So if I get 0 input in Q1, sorry, in Q2, so if I get a 0 input in Q2, what would be the number that will be generated? To reach Q2, I have already read 1 0, right? So after 1 0, if I get the third 0, it would represent a number 4. So whenever 4 is divided by 3, the remainder will be 4 divided by 3, remainder is 1, right? So I should transit to a state such that the remainder produced by that state will be 1. So from Q2, if I get 1 as the input, I'll go to a state that will produce remainder 1, and this is represented by state Q1. So I will transit like this. Okay, so this is from Q2 on 0, I'll go to Q1. But in Q2, again, I can get an input as 1. So if I get input 1, so the number that will be generated is 1, 0, and again a 1. So 1, 0, 1 represent number 5, right? So if 5 is divided by 3, the remainder is 2. So I'll add a self transition over here for input 1. Okay, now I've added transition from all states on all input, right? So this machine is complete now, and it will accept all, like if it is in state Q0, it will mean that the number is divisible by 3. If it stays in Q1 on reading some input, it means that the number which is read is producing result as 1 or remainder as 1. If you are staying in Q2, it means that it is producing a remainder as 2. Right. So this is a simple machine or a DFA. If you make it as final state, Q0 as a final state, it will be accepting all the binary numbers that are divisible by 3. Right. But here now we are talking about Mealy machine, so there won't be any final state. Now we want that output should be produced. So I have told you the logic to add output. Whenever I am moving towards Q0, output shall be 0. Whenever I am moving towards Q1, output shall be 1. And whenever I am moving towards Q2, the output shall be 2. Okay, so we add outputs like that. Okay, so this is our Mealy machine for computing residue mod 3 of a given number, given binary number when it is stated as integer. Okay, then let us consider an example. So 12 is represented is a integer number, and when it is represented is in binary, it is represented like this 1100. Okay, so 1100, when it is given as input to our machine, let us check what happens. So in Q0, if I get a 1, Q0 on 1 goes to Q1 and produces an output 1. So output produced is 1. Right, in Q1 the next input is again 1. So in Q1, if I get a 1, I am transiting to Q0 and the output produced is 0, right? So 0. Okay, then in Q0 again I am getting the input as 0, so I stay in Q0 and the output produced is 0. Again in Q0 the input is 0 and the output, the next state is Q0 and the output produced is 0, right? So at the end I am in Q0 and the output produced is 0. So this means that the remainder is 0. So we have computed mod 3 for 12, and you know that 12 is divisible by 3, so the remainder is 0. So the output which is produced at the end will be considered over here. Okay, then similarly, if you divide 14 by 3, so 14 is represented in binary as 1110. And if you perform the same transition, you see that at the end you have received an output. You are staying in state Q2 and the output produced is 2. Okay. I hope this much is clear to you. A quick response, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when we design a Moore machine for the same, the only difference is that instead of adding uh, output on the transition, we add the output on the state, right? So we design the same machine. Now, instead of writing outputs over here on the transition, we simply write the output on the state like this, right? So 3 states were used to represent 3 inputs, outputs. and thus we have added 3 outputs on the same states. The logic for designing the machine is same. The only thing is how we add the output mapping, right? How we add the output. So here 0 Q0 was representing state with 0 output, Q1 was representing state with 1 output, same for Q2. Okay, so this is a Moore machine because now the output is on state. So again the same example 12. So first of all, when you are in Q0, you will produce output 0 directly, right? And in Q0, you will read 1. So when you read 1 in Q0, you are transiting to Q1. And as you move to Q1, the output produced is 1 now. Okay. In Q1, again, you get an input 1. So you transit back to Q0, and at Q0, you produce an output 0, right? After reaching Q0. Okay. Then again in Q0, you get 0 as input, and again back you move to Q0, so you produce an output 0. Again read Q0 in Q0 and produce an output 0, right? So at the end the output produced is 0, so the remainder, that means the number is or the remainder is 0 for the input 12. Same for 14, output is 2. I hope this much is fine for today. Okay, so these are two examples. One for Mealy machine, the same we can convert to a Moore machine, or we can design a Moore machine for the same. In the next class, we'll see another example on design of Mealy and Moore machine, that will